must know how to hold the scope and control it. So what is the correct grip? Scope is held in the left hand like this. In fact, when I am not doing any procedure, it will simply rest here in the web of my thumb and index finger. You see that? Like this. I am not even holding it. It is simply resting here like this. That's all. Okay? And if you are not using it, then this is the everything should be in your left hand. But once it is plugged in, this has been plugged in now. Now I don't need to worry about this. So this is also in my hand. I will not at any time let it go. It will always be either in my left hand or my right hand. Okay, so this is the grip. And when you're doing a procedure, then the actual grip is like this. You are holding this body or the scope between your palm and your third and the fourth finger. You're not holding it like this. You know, this is wrong. Scope is held like this between your thinner eminence or your palm and your third and the fourth finger. That's all. This leaves your thumb, index finger, middle finger free. You see this? And we keep them free because with these 3 digits now we are going to do all the controls. See here. So now you understand the anatomy here. So for up and down, I'll use my thumb and do the up and down. You see that? With the help of my thumb I can do this. Same applies to my small wheel also. You see that? Now the small wheel I can angulate left and right using my thumb also. Some people find it difficult. What you can do is you can take the help of your middle finger also. From the other side, this middle finger is coming and assisting the thumb. You see that? This is how you use your angulating wheels. Okay. From day one, practice this. What most people will do is this. Isn't it? I have this hand here. I can do angulation, but this is wrong. Every time you bring your right hand for angulation, you are letting go of the insertion. The insertion, the scope is inside. So every time you have to let go of it, and this you will be requiring at every step. So you must angulate using your thumb here. Index finger is here for your suction button. Whenever you want suction, this index finger is there for this. And the middle finger is there for air water. You want air, you simply cover this button with the index finger, middle finger. You want a jet of water, you press with this. Okay? So this is the grip, and this is how you control all the functions of the scope with your fingers. With your thumb you do the angulations. You can ask the help of your middle finger along with the thumb if you want. But otherwise, use your index finger for the suction and the middle finger for the air water. Okay? And thumb for the angulation. This is the correct way to hold and use your scope. This is what I have just explained to you, so don't worry. You know, so the right hand remains free at all times because you need your right hand for scoping, isn't it? So at no time should you leave it and come here for angulation. There is only one instance where you will require your right hand, and that is when you actually need to lock it. Locking now you cannot do with this. So anytime you have to lock, you will ask your assistant to hold the scope right here. Your hand goes there, lock, then you come back. For a fraction of a second, you hand over the scope here, unlock, and then come. Because locking and unlocking will require only once. When you are okay, decided that this is my view, now I have to lock my scope in this angulation. And then you continue your procedure. Right? So, this is how you have to use your scope, how to handle it. Now coming on to the movements of endoscopy. What are the different movements which you can make use movements means what? Supposing you are driving a car, isn't it? You are driving a car. What are the various set of movements you have in a car? It can either go forward or back. But that, how do you achieve this movement? You have to do some maneuver for it, isn't it? What is that maneuver? Where is the control? Steering wheel. So to go right or left, you have to use the steering wheel towards left or right, isn't it? Look at these angulating wheels as the steering wheels of your scope. Look at the angulating wheels as the steering wheels of your scope. Because very often this question will come to your mind. To go from stomach or within the stomach from point A to point B, in which direction should I angulate? Isn't it? In which direction should I angulate? How should, left wheel or right wheel? We'll answer that question in a minute. Okay? Let me first tell you what are the various set of movements which are available to you, in which all directions the scope can move. And then we'll come on to the control. So you see, you already know these movements by now. One set of movement is up and down. Isn't it? This is up and this is down. See it? Up and down. The second set of movement is left and right. Two set of movements. Third is you advance the scope. So you introduce the scope and you withdraw the scope. This is the third set of movement. Fourth set of movement is rotation. Okay. Now rotation can be done in two ways. One is, I am holding the scope like this, so I hold it firmly in my hand now, and then I rotate it, like a twisting action. Isn't it? Like a twisting action. See this. The scope is being rotated, you may not see it, but if I angulate, then you will be able to see it. So from here, now I am rotating the scope by twisting it. Okay? This circular force is torque. So I am torquing the scope clockwise, anti-clockwise. Isn't it? This is what torquing is. This is one way of rotating the scope. But this should be avoided. In upper GI endoscopy, this should be avoided as far as possible. And you can do endoscopy without this torque. So it should be avoided, it should not be done. You know why? So now I am torquing inside to see, but look what is happening to the insertion tube outside. You see this, what is happening? The same twist is happening here also. This scope is no longer straight. Isn't it? So it is getting all twisted. This will damage the optical fibers inside. Over a period of time, the scope becomes damaged. So this is not a good way to do rotation for an upper GI. When it comes to colonoscopy, you have to do this torquing at every step. This torquing is an integral part of your colonoscopy. And those scopes are designed in such a way, they are bulkier scopes, that they are meant to undergo and tolerate torquing. Upper GI scopes are not. But then how to do rotation? There is another way of rotating your scopes, which is, rather than applying the force here like this, you rotate the scope by your left elbow. Left elbow. See this. So right now, again, I am just going to bend it in particular direction so that you can see the rotation is happening. So supposing I have this position to begin with, and I have to rotate my scope. So see the movement of my elbow and then see the movement. So I am just going to, with this elbow like at this position, if I start flexing my elbow, see what is happening to the scope.
Oh.
You see that? The entire scope has rotated by 360 degrees. Entire scope rotates by 360 degrees. Isn't it? You see that? So starting from here, if I do this to come back to this position, What am I doing? I am taking my outstretched left hand. So the movement is happening at my elbow. Isn't it? So see this. I rotate the scope like this. Now there is no torque. The entire insertion tube is rotating. You see this? This is how you should rotate your upper gear scopes. Complete rotation, complete 360 rotation can be achieved. If you are here, then you do this. If you are here, you do this. Okay? This is for complete rotation. A little bit, a limited amount of rotation can be done from the wrist also now. See this. It's the same movement, but for limited range. You see this? See this. What am I doing? Now the movement is at my wrist. To rotate or to see towards my right, I'll take this wrist towards my right. And on this side, I have to rotate it like this. So a limited rotation is done by your wrist. Full range of rotation is done by your elbow.
Now, how does that mechanism happen? I mean, what level? How is it happening?
You are just holding one scope, like this is just one piece. It is attached to the body here.
There is like a fulcrum in that attachment.
No, there is nothing. This is just the body. The body is connected to the insertion tube. If the body rotates, the insertion tube also rotates. There is nothing else. There is no joint here. There is no joint around which this movement is happening. This entire thing is rotating. Isn't it? So when I do this, this is fixed. Okay, but I don't want to do this. So what will I do? I rotate this. Okay? So this is how you should do rotation in your arm. This gives you a complete range of rotation. This gives you limited range of rotation. But see, and now observe this. So if I go from here to here, what have I done? I have gone from right to left. You understand?
Yeah.
What is this? This happening? It is looking at right. Now I am going towards the left. It's a limited range of movement, but the movement is actually happening in right to left direction. All of you agree? Isn't it? But I also have a wheel for left to right. If I move this wheel also, see this. This is also doing the same thing. Now supposing I lock it and show it to you. See, and right now it is like this, and then it will be like this. Isn't it? And supposing I lock it here, and then I rotate my wrist, again see it is going towards left side. But the range is less. Isn't it? So this means what? You can have a limited degree of left and right movement by rotating your wrist also. For limited left and right, you can just do this movement and the scope will move left and right. For more, you can use your wheel also. This is very handy because sometimes you have to do right also and up and down also. So rather than moving two wheels and struggling to do this, isko idhar move karna hai, isko idhar karna hai, all you can do is you can use the big wheel for up and down and your wrist for left and right. It becomes easier for you. Okay? But there is a slight difference, although it's not going to make a much difference in your view. There is a slight difference how the two movements are happening. See, I'll tell you. When you are doing a left and right movement using your small wheel, then the movement is happening like this. So this is your right, this is your left. The scope will move along this line. But when you are doing this movement, the scope will move left and right. But now it is actually rotation happening. It is rotation now. So the scope will be moving like this in a curved path. That is the only difference. But you will still, it doesn't make any difference in the vision, but you must understand what is happening here. Why do we need a left and right if we can do this? And why are we doing this if we have this? It will just make, if you have this understanding, it will make it easier for you. You know that I have to do a little bit of right left. You don't have to struggle with two wheels at a time. Okay? You can do this movement for limited left and right. You can do this movement for complete rotation. Is it clear? These are the four set of movements which you are going to make use now.